Test. Are we on? We're on? Can we start? Can we start? Angel, can we start?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patricia Adele. I will be moderating the second session. It is my pleasure to introduce Jongok John. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce Jongok John, a distinguished curator, educator, and a researcher specializing in new media art. Her career trajectory spanning Korea, the United States, and Indonesia has been marked by a significant contribution to the global art discourse. John's curatorial endeavors have reached international acclaim, including her involvement in the prestigious Venice Biennale. Beyond her curatorial roles, John is a dedicated educator, currently serving as a visual educator at National University of Jakarta, or known as Universitas Nasional Jakarta. And her commitment to nurturing the next generation of artists and cultural leaders is evident in her work. Today, we are fortunate to have John Jongok with us to share her insights and experiences. She'll delve into the multifaceted world of media art, defining what it is, exploring the diverse forms, and discussing the unique challenges and opportunities involved in curating this dynamic medium. Please join me in welcoming Jongok John. The screen is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Miss Pat. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Can we have first voice, our sound louder?
Can you hear me?
Ms. John Jongok,
Yes.
can you make your voice a bit louder?
Oh, can you hear me? How about right now? Can you hear my voice?
Still, not yet. Still soft.
How about right now? Let me remove my headset. Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, better. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, great. So I'm going to remove my headset. But before I begin, maybe I'm admin or co-host, so I can keep hearing the alarm sounds for the people who are entering the waiting room. Is it possible that we remove the alarm sound? Actually, I want to communicate with Miss Pat for technical. Okay, so let me start again. Good afternoon, everyone. Very sorry that you didn't hear my voice at the beginning. It is very nice meeting you all. First, I'd like to thank to School of Design at Venus University for inviting me to this wonderful event. And I also like to thank to Miss Patricia Adele, the Gallery and Exhibition Room Coordinator at SOD Gallery. Thanks for moderating today's session as well. If just in case you don't hear my voice again, just let me know. Okay, so my talk today is going to be about curating new media art, particularly what to be considered when we engage with the new this art form. And since the presentation materials that I brought today is also part of my practice as well as a current ongoing research. So if you are familiar with me or my team's curatorial projects, maybe you are already knew some of the materials that I'm going to present, but if you find it new, then I hope that what I'm going to present is going to be helpful for you. So let me share screen first. I still hear people joining the waiting room. So let me full screen. Sorry, let me full screen first again. Okay, how about right now? Can you see my PPT? Okay, I will continue. Uh, So, um, the first, I like to explore what it means to be a curator. The definition of a curator is not static, but evolves with societal changes. Here, I will provide an overview of the various definitions and roles of a curator. Um, and then after that, I'm going to move on to the understanding of new media art. And I will share you several examples of types of new media art. And in the end, when I talk about particularly curating new media art, I'm going to share you several of my own projects that I work together with my curatorial team. So, according to Adrian George, the word curator originally came from the Latin verb cure, which means to take care of. The early development of the role of curator in its current form is associated with collections of objects and antiquities by wealthy people in the 17th century for private purposes. And at that time, they became known as keepers, and what was collected was not necessarily the piece of art, but it could be natural and geological specimen as well. And of course, it could also include carvings, decorative objects, etc. And those wealthy people made rooms in their homes to store and display their collections, which is called cabinets of curiosities, as you can see in this picture. And later on, the role of curator is closely related to a museum collection as a caretaker of objects, who also did a cataloging and collecting. And then in the mid 20th century, curators did not simply display works from a collection, but instead worked together with artists to experiment with the new means and the new means of expression and presentation. There is a very interesting literature by David Butler who focuses on the impactful role of curators in the present times. In recent years, curating has expanded beyond a single definition and encompasses a wider range of tasks, practices, and careers. And the contemporary curator is not only responsible for preserving cultural heritage, but also serves as a powerful selector, interpreter, commissioner, advocate, artist, and trendsetter, a central figure in the cultural realm. So previously, a curator as a caretaker was invisible, but now has become a prominent figure who actively protects, arranges, and enhances the exhibits. In addition to the new role of curator in the art and cultural realm, the past few decades have seen a significant reconsideration of the role, purpose, and societal obligation of museums. George stated that the function of museum has evolved from simply holding collections to becoming spaces for interaction and education. As a result, the duties of a curator have become diverse and comprehensive. For example, they make decisions for new museum acquisitions, and also they conduct extensive research on objects, and they document exhibits, and they disseminate information to the public through publication and exhibitions. Similarly, Susan Pierce in French also notes a significant re-examination of the museum's role, purpose, and responsibilities in society. According to her, the conventional ideas about what constitutes a museum and how it should function have been challenged. As a result, museums are becoming increasingly conscious of including a wider range of voices from the community in a more respectful and equitable manner, and moving towards a more collaborative and also participatory approach to exhibit creation. Then, what is the difference between a museum curator and independent curator, which is more popular in in Indonesia? And historically, the museum curators have been responsible for researching, developing collections within institutions, and exhibitions have been drawn from that context. And in contrast, independent curators can freely define the roles that they wish to take on. They can also choose the topics that they like to explore. So, unlike the conventional curatorial method of museum curators, independent curators can cooperate the method that they like to experiment. So they have more freedom, but as much as they are free of institution, they have more responsibilities to handle in their own project, and as a result, are expected to be more talented, more versatile, and multifunctional. In other words, independent curators deal with philosophical issues to draw an exhibition concept while also dealing with practical issues such as budget, deadlines, objects, and places. So they are, on one hand, intellectual professionals. On the other, they are display expert. Um, and another view of curator is that curators are also an important asset of country as they develop arts and culture of the society with a sense of public interests. So there is a social role in curator. Independent Curators International asserts that curators are arts community leaders and organizers who champion artistic practice, build essential infrastructures and institutions, and also generate public engagement with arts. And similarly, Bruce Stewart states that public exhibitions and presentations inspire the imagination of communities. Curators take a lead role in guiding the success of exhibitions and presentations, often collaborating with many people in the art community along the way. So, in that respect, curators, whether on the traditional role or its contemporary adjustment, essentially help us understand the art and culture throughout the time. They work mutually with artists. They challenge preconceptions and they explore what future culture might be. There is also an interesting view of a creator as an artist or an author. So contemporary creators are no longer stay in an institution for taking care of its collection, but they go around all over the world to orchestrate the arts of the global context. They take their creator practice as a medium of artistic practice because according to Paul O'Neill, um, the practice of curatorship is just as the way of producing its own creative outcome. In the similar sense, Claire Bishop examines the idea of the curator as an author or co-author of exhibitions, suggesting that curators now often have a significant influence on the interpretation and reception of art. And I, as an independent creator myself, have observed that Today's creators tend to concentrate on a particular subject as a specialist within contemporary art, such as performance art curator, community-based art curator, new media art curator, and so on. Such a tendency of curator as a specialist legitimates the argument of Adrian George that as the curatorial profession is continually changing, developing and expanding, so the curator's range of skills or knowledge must develop and expand as well to meet these new challenges and opportunities. And similarly, O'Neill also points out that to study the practice of curating is to reveal the ways in which art has been displayed, mediated, and discussed as part of our histories of exhibition making. And therefore, studying curatorial is to explore the organic process of curation that is alive, changing, and developing. As a conclusion of this topic, curatorial practice in contemporary art has always sought to extend its boundaries, to innovate, and to test the limits. Curatorial practice is less about orthodox and more a place for invention, experimentation. It is essential to continue to expand our definitions of curating and, more importantly, who we think of as potential curators. Curators play a key role in how our shared culture is constructed, portrayed, and legitimated. So we briefly discussed about the concept of curator and its role. And now let's move on to the concept of new media art. I start with Paul Wilder's statement. Paul Wilder is a new media art curator and also scholar based in Spain and works across Europe. He suggests that the term new media art encompasses a broad array of creative practices that have been labeled differently through time. Historically, terminology has evolved and often been subject to debate and also replacement, which means that until now, several terms referring to new media art have been adopted, criticized, and discarded. For example, according to him, early algorithmic artworks by innovators like George Nees or Frida Nake in the 1960s were known as computer art. Over the years, various labels have been employed to describe these art forms, including electronic art, digital art, media art, multimedia art, intermedia art, or cyber art. In fact, I think Paul Wilder was very much influenced by another scholar and curator, Christian Paul, a prominent new media art scholar, curator who is the curator of digital art at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York, and also professor at the New School. He has written extensively on new media arts and its curation. According to Christian Paul, new media art is an umbrella term that has been used for film, video, sound art, and other artistic practices. She also asked what exactly is supposed to be considered new about the digital medium, because some of the concepts explored in digital art date back almost a century, so it's very old. And many others have been previously addressed in various traditional arts. She highlights a common distinction that has emerged since 2000s. The first type of art that uses digital technologies as a tool for the creation of traditional arts objects, such as photography, print, sculpture, or music. The second type of art that employs these technologies as its very own medium, which means that being produced, stored, and presented exclusively in the digital format and making use of its interactive or participatory feature. She said the terms digital art or new media art often used as if they mean the same thing. However, it's also common to think of new media art as a more specific subset within the broader realm of digital art. In the similar sense, Paul Wilder differentiates the definition of media art that is based on media being used and the behaviors of artworks shown as follows. The first definition, the media arts. The first definition, it comes from Dokam Glossaurus. And according to this definition, the media art, this is the term used to cover all artistic practices using or based on any of such media as video, sound, electronic, digital, and interactive media and internet. So it more focus on the media technology that is utilized. Another definition that is based on behaviors of artworks, it's by Barry Graham and Sarah Cook. They said that new media art is broadly art that is made using electronic media technology and that displays any or all of the three behaviors or characteristics, such as interactivity, connectivity, and computability in any combination. So, this is an example of what Christian Paul and also the Paul Wilder say about digital technology as a tool and digital technology as its own medium. So, in other words, definition of new media are based on the media being used and the behaviors of artworks. So, we can summarize like this. For example, like photographs, there are the result of digital chromogenic prints or videos that are filmed and edited using digital technologies, sculptures that are designed using CAD or computer aided design program, or produced using digital manufacturing process. So the outcomes of these forms of arts are based on finite or fixed or complete object or sequences of images. Most importantly, they do not necessarily reflect the characteristics of these technologies because it's already done. On the other hand, in the case of interactive websites, that is presented as an installation, projection, or on a screen, like sensor-based interactive installation that needs to be performed by the audience, and material-based work that involves and critically addresses digital technologies that are digital-born art that is less material and utilizes the digital medium's characteristics of participatory and generative features. So generative means you input your instructions into a computer as algorithm, and how the computer operates or performs is beyond your control. So the result is very unexpected. Let me move here. But however, we should not disregard the fact that when art is combined with new media, it is beyond simply combining mass media to computer technology or communication technology, but it rather expands to the realm of science. So it is truly transdisciplinary because it combines between art and humanity and science and technology. Uh, Gerfried Stocker, the director of Ars Electronica, said that the art of tomorrow is the art of media art, rather more oriented on scientific and technical disciplines than on the isms of the artistic discourse. And some new media art is based on conversions with biotechnology, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, astrophysics, quantum physics. Um, Maybe I will skip because actually I prepare so much slides in here. So now, since we already have some basic idea about what is new media art and what type of new media arts have been created, and new media art that is not just about based on the communication media technology, but media arts can also converge with the science. And now I like to show you some examples of new media art. The first artworks that I want to show, it's by Carl Sims. This piece is just like a video game about how creatures change over time. It is set up with 12 screens, as you can see, in a half circle, and each screen has a special floor sensor. So there is a footstep, and then when you step on the sensor in front of each screen, you pick the creatures, yeah, creatures, digital creatures on the screens to become evolve, and the other screens go blank, and you see those creatures start to mix each other and change and create their children or offsprings. They look different. This keeps going endlessly, and the creatures keep changing in ways you cannot anticipate ahead of time. It is all based on the idea of evolution, just like what Charles Darwin talked about, showing how life on Earth changes and grows. So think of it as starting with one parent creature, and then ending up with 11 different kids that all look different from each other. Then who create this, and how it happens, by audience interaction. And then another example that I brought here is the artwork by Roy Ascott. It was made in 1989, which is based on his theory of telematics, using technologies to connect people all over the world. Right now, yeah, we day to day, we just experience that we are just as very simply connected. Um, this artwork aims to create a digital bridge that lets information flow globally, making it feel that the world is connected as one big living system. Ascot invited more than 100 artists, poets, scientists, shamans, musicians, architects, Aboriginal Australians, and American Indian artists from all over the world to this project. They didn't have to gather in the one place. They can stay in their own place, um, because they are virtually connected. And he asked them to send image, text, and or poem about the earth. And the artist wanted to show how the earth can be seen in different ways, through our feelings, science, culture, and all the stories. And this piece was a stepping stone into the era of connecting the world digitally, treating all the shared information as a new kind of living things. This piece, created by Ken's Rinaldo, um, in 2004, this is an art project with 5 robot fish tanks that can move around. It's like giving fish the power to drive their own tanks wherever they like to approach. The fish control where they move by using special sensors in their tanks, and this system allows them to communicate with audience who are watching them, uh, because they move closer to the audience, or they can also move away from people. And a projected image on the wall shows the fish point of view. This work exemplifies the transformative and interactive nature of moist media, which means that blending natural and or biological and artificial or technological components in a non-linear immersion process. Sound art. Uh, Go- Golan Levens, he and his team created a very unique concert in 2001, where the music is made by ringing the audience's cell phone. So first, before show begins, audience, when they arrive at the theater, they register their cell phone numbers for the exchange of new ringtone sounds sent to their phones. So they receive the new ringtone sounds that was prepared by the artist. And they also received a ticket that tells them where to sit. So there is a seating arrangement by the artist. Then during the concert, the musicians used the special programs to make up to 60 phones ring at the same time. They knew where everyone was sitting and also what each phone's ringtone sounded like. So they were able to create interesting music patterns and effects, like waves of sounds that move through the crowds. So it was like a turning the audience phone into a big live orchestra. This piece by Catherine Icahn, made in 2005, is a piece of art that uses AI to act almost like a human. This artwork uses a computer brain to make decisions and create things like a person's might. Oscar looks a lot like a human, including having like skin that looks real. When someone enters the room and comes close to him, Oscar greets them with a gentle smile. After the person leaves, Oscar does random things, showing that he is not just programmed to do one actions. He can recognize people due to a special device. Oscar is a kind of art that uses AI to interact with visitors, making it seem like he has his own personality. Space art. Venza Christ is a Jogja-based artist who I think is very innovative and also leading new media artist in Indonesia, who has devoted himself for space exploration through art. And he worked together with ISSS, Indonesia Space Science Society. Venza is developing VMARKS, a Marks Analog Research Station in Indonesia. And according to him, this marks a milestone for Southeast Asia's space education. And his project, inspired by Mark's simulation programs in the US and Japan, where he attended himself. And this project aims to be a hub for space science, space exploration educations. And this involves like government, university, practitioners, private sector, and the space community. And then they focus on terraforming research, space farming, and alternative space for space food creation. Um, so as you can see, that later on we are going to also talk about like collaborations with the many different disciplines, and as one of the characteristics of new media art, which is very interdisciplinary. As many new media artists, they do not just work alone, but they work with many individuals with a very different uh, backgrounds and also many different institutions. Interactive art by artist duo Krista Somorer and Lorenz Mignono. Um, Here you see some living plants hanging on the space, hanging from the ceiling, and there is a the projection screen, video projection on the wall. And so when the viewer touches the living plants in the pots in front of the screen, the virtual plants grow in the projection. So the work is designed to experience the power of life virtually. So there are several interesting aspects about this artwork. First, this work is related to the characteristics of artificial life arts in that art evolves in the computer space in order to exist as autonomous entity. And second, artist becomes a creator of the living system. And third, audience becomes an active participant. Um, because without audience participation or interaction, this may not nothing will happen in the projection onto the wall. And also through that interaction, the art continuously evolve. Lastly, the audience can determine where the work could go. So in that sense, the audience role is very important, which is also one of the consideration that I'm going to highlight again later on. It's internet art by Korean artist duo named Myun. they created internet. So they created art within internet, and people experienced their art in the internet. And then it was made in 2016 and it lasted until 2020. And this art was viewed directly on the website, but which already stopped. And as you can see, we see a constellation, the image of a constellation in a universe, which is actually based on the information of more than 850 exhibitions and 950 people in the Korean art scene. Those data were collected by artists as well as the people by themselves by putting the data into the internet. And then artists limited exhibition data to those government and public funded projects. Uh, the reason why the artists focus on the public fund is because they witnessed the gradual uh, disappearance of their artist friends, and they believe that the uneven distribution of public funds affected such condition. In this map, most artists and curators are connected to a few individuals in the center, which is those who gain the most benefits from the public fund. And this art criticized the art scene in Korea by revealing such an art structure and power relation that exists as real. Uh, Software art, uh, so the artist has a developed a software of collage engine which uses terrestrial television signals as raw material. The image that we see is a television signals. Uh, and then she put it into a visual footage, the footage. And in software art, the software itself can be a piece of creation. And of course, the outcome, for example, like prints or video documentation or animation, the moving image of the software operation is also a work of art. So the artist made a video documentation of his software art, which was put in our market along with his original software itself. It's the last one. I believe that you are very familiar with this VR or AR. The term virtual reality uh, now we very often utilize or also we heard, and this is about the immersive interactive virtual reality experience which utilize 3D computer graphics, 3D sound, head-mounted display, and real-time motion tracking based on breathing and balance. So this installation allows users or somebody who are very immersed into the virtual space, to explore a series of metaphorically inspired nature-based virtual spaces through intuitive navigation using their breath and balance. These are the some of the variations of new media arts that I can share to you as a foundation. We have some minutes left, and now what I like to do is so in curating new media arts, what are the things that we have to consider? So there could be like process, there could be time, there could be space, there could be the role of audience, there could be also a collaborative aspects or like interdisciplinary aspect as well, which I explained just a little bit by a little bit when I talk about each examples before. I'm going to use my curatorial project as a case studies, but before I get to there, let me give you a little like theoretical background again. So the Christian Paul explains that new media art has shifted the focus from object to process as an inherently time-based, dynamic, interactive, collaborative, and customizable and variable art form. New media art resists objectifications and challenges traditional notions of art object. Similarly, Graham and Cook argues that many new media art projects um, are not interested in the object outcome, but rather in the process, the engagement, and the interaction. So new media art is not necessarily materialistic, but is instead concerned with methods rather than the final form. Um, Considering space and time. In new media art curation, space and time are the essential elements to comprehend. Today's art is getting more immaterialized. That is often experienced through the system of networks, virtual space. So one shall get into the system to be connected to the work of arts, which in turns gives the new conditions to new media art space with the environmental infrastructure that is appropriate for web-based art. Um, for example, like in order to showcase sound arts in an indoor gallery space, the sound you have to consider the soundproof system of the building. That is very much required. If you are dealing with the arts that is concentrating the light elements, the capacity of the electrical power of the venue is crucial so that the artwork can be presented properly as you planned. And if that light arts or if the new media art is showcased outdoor, there might be much more to be taken into consideration. You have to think about the material durability. You have to consider the weather. You have to consider the location. You also have to think about the electrical power source where you can pull the power. So there are a lot to be considered, especially the outdoor. And speaking time, so curators dealing with new media art must understand how the characteristics of time in new media art are differs from the time in video or performance. For example, new media art provides real-time experience, while video art, performance art are understood as time-based or live. Furthermore, if video's default option is the simple recording of a real-time visual information, then the computer's talents lie in the manipulation of data, ideally in real time. And considering cooperation between absolute time inherent in art and relative time of experiencing art, curators of new media art must pay attention to time issue when mounting an exhibition. Because there is not just the time or the duration inherent into the artwork itself, but you have to also consider the duration of the experience by the audience. Another aspect, uh, important aspect is the audience role. Um, so the reflecting the notion that new media art is characterized as process rather than the object, who is involved in the process and how should be taken into consideration. In traditional exhibition, one experiences or the one audience experiences a work of art through internal and spiritual interactions in one's state of mind. This type of interaction is based on a visual experience that stimulates an aesthetic sense of the individual by very personal level. In the case of media art exhibitions, interactive activities are carried out by the direct intervention and communication by the audience body. In this circumstance, the audience becomes a participant who actively intervenes in the work using one's various senses beyond visual. However, as Graham and Cook pointed out, it is important to note that in many cases, interaction is not truly acting upon each other, or which means that it is not like the true two-way interaction, but instead one-way reaction. So by reaction, it means that if you operate a mechanic part in arts, you start a switch or you touch the button, then the art reacts by the audience, stimulates. How to make true interactivity or two-way interaction still remains as a challenge for curators because it is one of the important parts of behaviors in new media art, according to them. And collaborative and interdisciplinary, according to Tatiana Baccelli, in Gareth, her curatorial methodology is based on a montage of practices as well as field works to create a conceptual network of multiple. This suggests that she views creating new media art as an integrative and collaborative process, drawing on diverse sources and activities to form a cohesive conceptual framework. My curatorial practice is based on teamwork with art labs. So um, I did my colleagues. What I want to do is I want to show you some of the curatorial projects that we did based on three curatorial aims. First, first, our project explore various themes and aesthetics. Second, we pursue interdisciplinary approach. And third, we promote new audience role, which I just highlighted. The themes we've chose for our creator project are various, among others, big data, nomadism, ecopolitics, artificial intelligence, and so forth. So it was important for us to expand the thematic possibility that media arts can express rather than merely demonstrating technological impact of media to our society. Because by emphasizing the thematic relevance, the theme or concept that you develop related to your society, which means that the new media arts can be more accessible to the public. This is one of the examples in the show by Honf, House of Natural Fiber, who demonstrated data from the photosynthesis process. And Myun, the Korean artist duo that I show you, when I show you internet art, so that they use the real-time currency data to show a virtually animated landscape, showing how closely we are connected and affected to each other. And then Angelica Das from Spain turned human skin color into Pantone color code, which becomes a human data. And then another, maybe this is just an example that I can play briefly. So this is examples of the muons, how they connect to the real-time currency data directly to the gallery space. So the strong internet connection was very, very important during preparing the exhibition. And it should be able to work throughout the exhibition period. Okay, and then and the collective and collaborative process in media art is important to ensure the success of a project. So many art clubs projects work with curators collectively. This is called like 5 Passages to the Future, curated in 2019 by 5 female curators who has very different expertise. Each curator proposed a different theme, and they chose one artist, and they collaborate with the artist. And the ideas that we discussed was artificial intelligence. Okay, hold on. Sorry. And ecopolitics, sustainability, digital narrative, and wearable technologies. So the exhibition also invite 5 emerging artists, Indonesian artists who explore the issue of eco data. Another aspect that we have to consider is the audience role. And the emergence of media art has made a significant change in the role of audience. And unlike in traditional exhibition, the audience of media art exhibition became an active participant and rather than passive viewer. So, for example, in here, the invited artists challenge the long-term privilege of the sight or viewing in the appreciation of art and recover the power of all other physical senses that are equally valuable. So the presentation stimulates visual experience, not just the visual experience, but also hearing, touching, smelling, and tasting. And one example. And this is the last part of my presentation that I want to share you a short video clip of Festival Comunitas Seni Media that was held in 2022. And also there was another festival in 2023 that I was involved. And let's have a look first how it looked like. So the festival was held in Bengkulu, Sumatra, and the festival displays works of Indonesian media artists that celebrate Indonesia's diverse ethnic knowledge by highlighting local wisdom, untold stories from the artist's place of origin, because they are coming from many different cities across Indonesia. And this program was also supporting an educational experience of tangible, intangible heritage through media art. Uh, so these are all video clips, but since we are almost out of time, so I will just explain just very briefly. The first one on left top, like Briwangan Studio, they created a meditative space based on the spiritual tradition of East Java. So you hear the water drops when you enter the space. And then the Gara Gara Artists Initiative on the right on top combine art and biology, and then you were able to hear the sound of the fruits as well as some natural elements. And the one on the left bottom is a Comunitas Lintas Seni from Bengkulu, and they learn about the very basic like Arduino and sensor, light and sound. And then they like to talk about the history of linguistic tradition in Bengkulu. And the one on the right hand side, on the bottom, the artists uh, from East Java, and they also based on the like a mythological the stories from their own origin of the cities. And I will just pass. And we also created like immersive room. Immersive room. Let me play just a little bit. So in this immersive room, the artist wanted to talk about the issues of the recycling, issues of the waste, and then you can utilize all your different like multi-sensory experiences. And also it teaches about, you know, how human exploit the nature. And then outdoor, we had a kinetic display. So I will go to the conclusion. So I, um, in conclusion, new media art creator should take into account several factors, including technological advancements, pressing social issues, technical expertise, and also collaboration skills, among others. Exploration of various thematic and aesthetic approaches helps the general public more familiar with new media arts with and also with the aid of technology. New media arts requires a new process of curatorial framework. Therefore, more collaborations and exchanges between the creators are encouraged, and through participatory and interactive system of the exhibition, audience can become more active participants instead of passive spectators. So that's all that I prepare. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yo.
Sama-sama.
Because we have very limited time, we can have maybe two questions from maybe from the one from the participants of the incubation program and then one from the online seminars, maybe. Is there any question? The incubation program participants?
Yes. My question is, what are the challenges and opportunities in creating a collaborative art project that involve multiple artists or online communities? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, Maybe I can share not just about the curatorial point of view, but I can also share my observations, how the many new media artists work together with other people. So the first, from the curatorial perspectives, the opportunities are, let me give you this specific example that I show at the end of my presentation, like the Festival Community Cine Media. There were curatorial team were not just from uh, the certain cities of Indonesia, but since the event was happening in um, Bengkulu or Lombok or Samarinda, we also invited the team, local team as part of the curatorial like management team. So as I said, the one thing very important is curator has to consider the the issues or topics that are quite that is very relevant to the current like current society or the people who will be experience. So it was very important for us to understand what is the main issues, yeah, that happen in their own cities, because as an outsider we can only know from internet. We only know from the media about the particular issues that happen in that particular city, right? So I thought that, and also not only me but other team member also very happy about working together with many people within the curatorial team, because we learn each other, we share knowledge, yeah. So we share knowledge and experiences as well. So that was very, very good opportunity. And for artists, I think uh, as you saw, many of the examples, there are so many technical thing involved. So I saw many group of artists, they kind of divide the role. So maybe some artists, they can lead and they can be more contributing to the concept development, and maybe some other the member of the group can contribute to their technical skills, right? So that can also be good opportunities, the benefits, working with many people from different disciplines. If I say challenges, since there are many people involved, sometimes we learn how to appreciate, how to respect. So sometimes we have very limited time, right? We have to push our project because very soon we have a timeline we have to complete, but we cannot ignore the acceptance of other people's opinions. So which is important, but at the same time, like time limitations, that sometimes I wish that we can move faster. That could be a challenge. And also maybe the people who have very different perspective about technology, let's say, or I realized that as a media art creator, the people from Korea, people from Europe, people from Indonesia, I think they have a different idea, different experience of technology as well as media technology. So very different concept of new media art, which is good in a way because we can learn, right? But at the same time, also it's challenging. Yeah. Okay, I hope I answer your question.
Yes, you did, Miss Jong. There are actually two more questions from the seminar participants, if it's okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Two more questions. Okay, hold on.
You mean the one in the chat, right? Meeting chat.
Yes, the one in the chat from Utin Putih Leomangga.
Mm.
Why do you think the new media art was received as a debatable kind of art or controversial in the beginning of the distribution of digital technology?
But actually, I don't fully understand the exact point of this question. But if so the new, can you elaborate a little bit? S- The Utin Putih, can you elaborate just a little bit?
Yeah, maybe we can open the the microphone for the
I want to hear a little more detail about what kind of like controversies or debates. You mean because it's very mechanical and it is like human machines like collaboration, or because there are many resources out there and it's very easy for us to uh, utilize the resources or sources available, because it also leads some issues of copyrights, right? Ownerships itu. So is that what you mean?
Yes, hello. My name is Upin. Um, I meant to ask, usually when there's new technology involved, there will be controversy and different opinions about the new technology. Um, why do you think people, maybe from when digital technology or computers are firstly invented, they have controversies, like maybe they debate. Some people say it's good, some people say maybe it's not art. Why do you think? Thank
Oh,
you.
I see. Yeah. Thank you very much for elaboration. Um, I would say that maybe because it really depends on their positions, yeah, in their work, in their practice. So maybe, for instance, right now we talk a lot about artificial intelligence, AI based. Some artists they utilize like AI applications, and then some people um, just to let the computer algorithms, work itself. So the human role within the creation of that kind of media art is very limited, and then it's also they are not really like controllable over their creations. Uh, but and also because maybe some people, when it comes to like a new technology, people feel uh, threatened on their humanity side, right? Because maybe they think that how can we express about more like emotional like engagements, yeah, connections between the audience and the artworks, right? But I would say I think I totally understand everyone has a very different opinions. Some people can be pro, some people can be contra, yeah, agrees and disagrees. But for me, as a new media creators, I see more potentials, more potentials because speaking the arts, this new like technology always open up the new possibilities. right? But of course, I think we have to also have some sort of agreements that what we create will not like like disrespect or overtaken other parts. Yeah. For example, let's say like copyright. Yeah. Because and also people think that it's just a human, it's not a really human creation, but it's machine, yeah, machine creation, whether we can really consider it as a art. But I think the art always change, and especially the definition of art is very fluid, and we never know what kind of art we may experience in the near future, right? We never know about the future. So for me, I'm more positive. More see the potential because, as I said, it gives opportunities. And as long as like in the case of like a copyright ownerships, as long as the regulations are already set, yeah, then I believe that the problem can be solved. And then the after people experience, and then after people get used to it, I think they are more open. So the first problem might be because it's so new that they never experienced, so they feel threatened. Yeah. So which means once again, as a creator, we have to give more opportunities for the peoples to experience new form of art or the arts that based on new and emerging technology.
Thank you for the answer.
Sama-sama.
Question maybe? We've passed 6 minutes from our time. So
Mm.
this is the last question.
Dari Pak Hagung Shihab.
Yes, correct.
Um,
Yes, Miss Jong-ok. Will someone read it for Miss Jong-ok, or
Yes, please.
will we can read the question for you?
I just want to make sure that I understand the question correctly.
Ya, Patrice, mohon ditranslate.
Oh, I think I translated already. So I understand that if our art, our media art has an opportunity to showcased in other country, right, which has very different situations and perspective, maybe, yeah, experience, how our Indonesian media art is going to be perceived. Is that correct? I mean, that's how I understood. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I've been also thinking about that recently when I brought my presentations to other country like Japan. Kemarin I went to Japan to present the Indonesian media arts, and also I did a couple of presentations in Europe. One thing, there is some share points, but something also new for them, and they found it very unique. So one thing that share is uh, the artist who, although the Indonesian artists, the material wise, yeah, material wise or tool wise, even though they use very local, yeah, local driven, what they speak can be also global because many issues that the Indonesian artists talk about, even though it's related to the local, uh, dulu there was a incident of like the mud explosion in Sidoarjo, the East Java, right? So it's very local issue, but if you think about uh the like very aggressive development, or we can also see from maybe climate change. So even though it's directly talking about the local issue with the local materials and tools, But there is some share points that non-Indonesian understand, because as a global citizen, we all experience, right? That's one thing that I found. But on the other hand, um, I found that I don't know all kinds of new media art all over the world, but based on my experience visiting several international festivals abroad, many new media arts very much concentrate on cutting edge technology, and also like innovation, and also innovation as well as the future, right? They like to talk about innovation, future, cutting edge technology. But Indonesian situation is quite different. It's also related to the accessibility of the media technology. But I found something very interesting about Indonesian arts, and also the people outside found it interesting. It's because many new media art in Indonesia, they like to highlight on their local culture, uh, um, all cultural heritage, or their uh, the the cultural wisdom, like, something that they can pull from where they come from. So they like to talk about locality, traditions, heritage, and sometimes some media artist or curator in Indonesia, they see new media art is a very good way to preserve our Indonesian culture. So when I show some examples related to this issue, then the people from outside found it so interesting, and they found that that is why, as I said, the definition of new media art always change, right? Always evolve. Um, and we have to consider, the artists, backgrounds, or the curatorial ideas, where these creators come from. We have to always consider about the local context, right? So once again, if I sum up, they found some sharing points, but also they found something distinctive and unique and interesting, which is very different.
Thank you, Miss Jing Jong-ok. Very
Sama-sama.
interesting.
Okay,
Yes.
everyone. Since we reached our time limit, I believe all the presentation that brought by Ms. Jong-ok essentially covered aspects of curating new media art. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Ms. Jong-ok. Thank you to all participants here for your time in participating in these seminars. So hopefully we will meet again in the curatorial process of this exhibition, Ms. Jong-ok.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pat, and everyone, Venus University School of Design, and SOD Gallery, and Incubation. I'll see you again very soon.
Very soon. Thank you, Ms. Jong-ok. See you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Oke. Teman-teman, kita udah kedatangan tamu lagi nih, satu lagi dari Malaysia, Mr. Shakir. He's one of the mentor that will help you with projection mapping tomorrow. So yeah, can't wait to have you tomorrow. And mungkin kita pakai bahasa Indonesia aja ya yang di sini ya, atau mau bahasa Inggris? Oke, teman-teman, gimana hasil dari ininya seminarnya? Ada yang bingung nggak di sini? Mungkin kita summarize sedikit ya tadi ya, apa yang kita udah dapat dari Kak Dana, apa yang udah kita dapat juga dari Miss Jong-ok. Mungkin kaitannya nanti dengan proses teman-teman dalam proses inkubasi ini membuat atau memproduksi karya bersama gitu. Jadi gambaran besarnya kita pengen teman-teman aware ya kalau dari tadi workshopnya Kak Dana, karena kan teman-teman tadi akan banyak sekali berkutat dengan pencahayaan, dengan objek gitu. Nah, jadi harapan kita dari workshopnya Kak Dana tadi, teman-teman bisa dapat esensinya apa aja yang harus teman-teman perhatikan gitu, ketika nanti teman-teman membuat karya apapun itu bentuknya ya, karena setelah tadi dijelaskan sama kuratornya, salah satu kuratornya, Miss Jong-ok, apa sih New Media Arts itu saat ini ternyata sangat beragam banget ya. Pendekatannya juga bisa sangat kolaboratif.